Stop being so sensitive, it's just one dinner, my sister snapped. Funny, you always have space when you need my money, I replied coldly. I blocked them all and left them to handle their own bills. I had always been aware of where I stood within my family, the disregarded one, the middle sibling, neither gifted enough to earn admiration, nor youthful enough to be doted upon. I merely existed, overshadowed by everyone else's excellence. My elder brother Joseph was the prize child, flawless academics, sports scholarships, the kind of son parents proudly discussed at neighborhood gatherings. My younger sister Amanda was the adored baby, pampered, sheltered with every tantrum met with presents and endless attention. And then there was me, Ryan, the one who only seemed to be remembered when I was needed for something. For years I convinced myself I was overthinking, that the tight feeling in my stomach whenever my accomplishments were ignored was just baseless insecurity, that the ache in my heart when plans with me were canceled was nothing more than misplaced sadness. Families had their share of ups and downs, and eventually I would receive the recognition I longed for. I was mistaken. The harsh reality struck on Thanksgiving, a truth so sharp and undeniable that it shattered the carefully built lies I had told myself for nearly 3 decades. That morning my phone vibrated with a message from my mother. Ryan, sweetie, we're calling off Thanksgiving dinner this year. Finances are tight and we just can't afford it. We'll organize something small next month to make up for it. Love you. I stared at my screen, an empty feeling spreading inside me. Finances are tight. The same reasoning I had heard countless times before. The same justification that had led me to send them money every single month for the past 3 years to assist, to be a good son. My fingers hovered above my phone, ready to respond with empathy, prepared to offer more financial support, willing to once again be their problem solver. But something made me pause. Whether it was instinct or the weight of years of silent disappointment, I made a different choice. That evening, I decided to drive past their house, just to check in, perhaps bring some takeout since they supposedly couldn't afford a proper dinner. As I turned onto their street, the knot in my stomach tightened. Something was wrong, and then I saw it. Their driveway packed with cars, Joseph's polished BMW, Amanda's bright red Jeep. Vehicles I immediately recognized as belonging to uncles, aunts, and cousins. My fingers clenched the steering wheel, my knuckles turning ghostly white. They couldn't, but they had. I pulled over on the opposite side of the road and stepped out. Warm light glowed from the windows. Through a small gap in the curtains I saw them, all of them, seated around a table overflowing with dishes. Turkey, stuffing, my mother's signature pumpkin pie, laughter, togetherness, everything a proper Thanksgiving should be. Everything I had been assured was impossible this year. My breath hitched. The pain of betrayal slammed into me like a physical blow. They hadn't called off Thanksgiving. They had only excluded me. I don't remember pressing the doorbell, but I must have, because suddenly the door swung open, revealing my mother. Her smile flickered, not with guilt, not with regret, but with mild irritation at the unexpected disruption. Ryan, why are you here? I couldn't immediately find my voice. Over her shoulder I saw the dining area fall silent. Faces turned toward the doorway, staring uneasy. My father, halfway out of his chair at the head of the table. I finally spoke, though my voice sounded foreign even to myself. I got your message, I said. The one about canceling Thanksgiving. She blinked, recovering too quickly, far too easily, as though she had prepared for this exact moment. Oh, she said, brushing it off. There must have been some confusion. What I meant was, we were only canceling plans with you. We chose to keep things low-key, just immediate relatives, just family. Those words echoed in my mind. Just family. Then what did that make me? I am family. I spoke, my voice rough as if the words scraped against my throat. She had the courtesy to look slightly uncomfortable, but not remorseful. Never remorseful. Of course you are, sweetheart. It's just, well, you understand how these things go. Joseph brought his new girlfriend, and Amanda wanted to have some of her college friends over. We simply didn't have enough space for everyone. Not enough space. Yet somehow they had room for distant relatives, room for my sister's friends, room for everyone except me. My gaze drifted beyond her into the warmly lit dining area where the proof of my place in the family or lack thereof was painfully clear. Joseph locked eyes with me and had the nerve to lift his glass in my direction. A smug, taunting toast. That's when it sank in. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't an accident. It was intentional. They had made a deliberate choice to leave me out, and they felt no regret about it. Without a word, I turned on my heel and strode back toward my car. Behind me, I heard my mother call out my name, her voice laced with that well-practiced artificial concern she used whenever an audience was present. But she didn't come after me. Nobody did. The drive home blurred together, my mind stuck in an endless loop of past misunderstandings. birthdays where my presence felt like last-minute additions, family trips I only discovered through social media posts, the constant excuses. We assumed you were too busy, we didn't think you'd be interested. They hadn't wanted me there. They had never wanted me there. When I reached my apartment complex, I sat motionless in my parked car, unable to move. The full weight of their betrayal crashed down on me, but alongside the hurt came something else: clarity. A stark, undeniable realization. For the last 3 years, I had been financially supporting them, covering expenses, helping pay bills, watching Amanda's child whenever she needed a break. Just last week, I had even placed a down payment on a Christmas surprise, a reliable SUV to replace their old minivan, and the whole time, I had been nothing more than a resource to them. Not a son, not a brother, just an ATM, a tool for their convenience. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone and dialed the car dealership. The salesman sounded surprised to hear from me so late on Thanksgiving night. "I need to cancel that order," I said, my voice firm. "Something's come up." "The family SUV? But you were so excited to surprise them." He responded, clear confusion in his tone. "Plans changed," I replied flatly. "They won't be needing it anymore." I ended the call and finally stepped inside. My apartment felt strangely hollow, the quietness pressing in on me. But for the first time, that silence didn't feel like a punishment. It felt like a choice. That night, I made a decision. I was finished. Finished being their fallback plan. Finished being the forgotten son who still showed up, wallet open, ready to help. Finished pretending we were a family, when in truth I had always been on the outside looking in. The phone call started the next morning. First, my mother. Her tone was sugary sweet, dripping with fake concern. She wanted to know why I had left so suddenly, asked if I wasn't feeling well. Not once did she acknowledge what they had done. I let the call go to voicemail, then my father. His voice was gruff, straight to the point. "Your mother's upset. Call her back. Delete, Joseph, Amanda." Even my grandmother roped into their guilt-tripping tactics, calling to make me feel bad for causing a scene. I powered off my phone and enjoyed the uninterrupted silence. For once, I didn't rush to smooth things over, didn't bend over backward to be the reasonable one, didn't apologize for being hurt. The real storm hit 3 days later when I skipped Sunday dinner, a tradition I had upheld without fail, sacrificing personal plans, driving hours after work, making the effort even when no one acknowledged my presence. That evening, my mother called again. This time I answered, "Where are you?" Everyone's waiting, no greeting, no concern, just impatience, as if my absence had disrupted their routine. "I'm not coming," I stated plainly. A brief pause. "What do you mean you're not coming? It's Sunday dinner." "I know what day it is," I responded, my voice unwavering. "I'm still not coming." A brief silence lingered. I could practically visualize her mind working, calculating the next move, the emotional manipulation she had always used to keep me in check. "Your father isn't doing well," she finally spoke, her tone carefully crafted to sound concerned. "He's been asking about you." A lump formed in my throat. That familiar guilt crept up, threatening to suffocate me. How many times had they played this card? How often had they wielded my father's health as a means to pull me back into "I'm not. If he's truly that sick, take him to a doctor." I responded, surprising even myself with how firm my voice was. "Joseph can take him." "Ryan, how can you be so ungrateful? After everything we've done for you?" A sharp, humorless laugh escaped my lips. The sheer ridiculousness of her words shattered the last remnants of my restraint. "And exactly, what have you done for me, Mom? Other than deceive me? Other than leave me out? Other than make me feel like I don't belong? That's not fair. You're exaggerating. If this is about Thanksgiving, I already told you. It was all a miscommunication." "It wasn't a miscommunication," I replied, unwavering. "You didn't want me there. Just admit it." Silence. Not the silence of remorse. Not the silence of shame. The silence of someone whose usual tactics had failed and was now scrambling for another strategy. Finally, she exhaled, her voice turning cold. "Fine. Have it your way, but don't come crying to us when you need something." The irony of her words was almost laughable. When had I ever turned to them for help? When had they ever supported me when I needed them? "Goodbye, Mom." I ended the call and immediately blocked her number. Then one by one I cut them all off, severing every route they used to manipulate, control, and make me question my worth. It was astonishingly simple, like removing a heavy burden I hadn't even realized I had been carrying for so long. The fallout. Over the following week, the guilt trippers emerged. Distant relatives, family acquaintances, each one reaching out to express their disappointment in me. The messages all carried the same recycled guilt trip. "Your mother is devastated. Families have disagreements, but they should always make peace." I listened politely. Then, without hesitation, I blocked them too. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, they switched tactics. No more group confrontations, no more raging voicemails. Instead, they moved on to targeted, calculated attempts, each person playing their designated role in their mission to manipulate me back into their grasp. The confrontation. My father went first. A short commanding text, "Call me." When I ignored it, he escalated his efforts. He arrived at my apartment, knocking aggressively. His voice thick with anger and disbelief. "Ryan, I know you're in there. Open this door right now." I stood still on the other side, my pulse racing. The old version of me would have caved, would have opened the door, would have apologized for things that weren't even my fault, but that version of me no longer existed. After 15 minutes he gave up, but before leaving he slid a note under the door. "Your behavior is unacceptable. Your mother is heartbroken. This is not how we raised you." I crumpled the paper and tossed it straight into the trash. The final blow. The next day a call came through from an unfamiliar number. I answered, unaware of who it was. "Joseph, dude, you need to stop acting like this." He began skipping. "Any pleasantries, so you missed one dinner. Big deal. Mom's been a mess and Dad's pissed. And you care because I asked," keeping my tone even though my jaw clenched. He let out that same arrogant laugh, the one I had grown to despise. "Come on, we all know you're just pulling this stunt for attention." "Well, congratulations. You got what you wanted. Now stop making a scene and apologize to Mom and Dad." "You seriously think this is about attention?" I asked, my voice calm despite the rage bubbling beneath the surface. "What else could it be?" he scoffed. "You've always been ridiculously sensitive. Remember when you threw a tantrum because I got a car for graduation and you didn't?" A lump formed in my throat. I hadn't received a single thing from my graduation, not even a simple card. "See? Always making a big deal out of nothing." Joseph scoffed as if he had just proven something. "Just grow up and come to Sunday dinner. This family doesn't work when someone is stirring up trouble. Maybe it's about time someone did." I ended the call. Amanda was next to reach out. Her approach was softer but no less manipulative. She showed up at my workplace during lunch, bringing her son with her. A deliberate move, knowing I wouldn't, caused a scene in front of him. "Uncle Ryan," he shouted, running up to me with his arms open. Despite everything, I hugged him. None of this was his fault. Amanda watched carefully, her expression unreadable. "He misses you," she said, her voice gentle. "We all do." I met her gaze. "Do you?" I asked, my tone filled with genuine curiosity. "Or do you just miss what I did for you?" A flicker of annoyance crossed her face. "That's not fair. We're family." Family. The word felt empty as I repeated it. "That word seems to mean something very different to me than it does to the rest of you." Her patience started to wear thin. "Ryan, this is ridiculous. So you weren't invited to one dinner? Let it go." I crouched down to my nephew's level. "I have to get back to work now, buddy. It was nice seeing you." As I walked away, Amanda called after me. "Mom needs help with the mortgage this month and I was hoping you could take him for the weekend." I didn't stop walking. I didn't respond. Her real intentions had been exposed in just 2 sentences, more clearly than any argument I could have made. My grandmother's attempt was the most subtle, yet the most calculated. A package arrived at my apartment containing old childhood photos, a handmade card I'd given her when I was 6, and a tiny toy soldier that had once been my favorite. A small note was attached, written in her familiar shaky handwriting. "Family is all we have in the end. Don't throw yours away over pride." Pride, as if standing up for myself after years of being pushed aside was nothing more than stubbornness. As if wanting to be treated with basic respect was an unreasonable demand. I put the photographs away but kept the toy soldier, a reminder of the little boy who had once tried so hard to be loved. The final attack came from my mother. She left voicemail after voicemail on my work phone, the only number she could still reach. Each message was more desperate than the last. "Brian, please call me back. I don't understand why you're doing this to us. Your father's blood pressure is through the roof because of your behavior. If something happens to him, I hope you can live with yourself. Why are you punishing us? What did we ever do except love you?" Every message twisted the knife deeper. Every word confirmed how incapable they were of acknowledging their actions, of recognizing the hurt they had caused. In their version of the story, I was the villain, the unappreciative child, the source of conflict. The last voicemail she left exposed everything. Her voice was devoid of warmth. Any illusion of motherly care completely abandoned. "All right, have it your way. But don't come running back when you realize what you've turned your back on. Joseph has just secured a partnership at his firm, and Amanda is expecting another baby. Life moves forward with or without you. We remain a family even if you opt to remove yourself from it." A warning disguised as an update. "Take a look at all you're missing. See how we're perfectly fine without you." But all I heard was confirmation. proof that my decision had been the right one. That leaving wasn't merely a possibility, it was the only path toward genuine healing. So I erased the message. Then I deleted everyone that came before it. One by one, I wiped away their voices from my life, just as they had erased me from theirs long ago, and then I left. I walked out of that house and made my way to my car, feeling strangely light on my feet. Behind me I could hear my mother weeping, my father raising his voice, the same old chorus of manipulation and guilt. But this time it didn't hold me captive. That was half a year ago. In all that time, not a single one of them has expressed remorse. Not one has taken responsibility for their actions, or attempted to repair the damage they inflicted. Instead, they've rewritten the story to cast me as the antagonist, the ungrateful child who abandoned his own family over what they claim was a minor misunderstanding. I know this because acquaintances still pass along updates. I hear about how my parents paint themselves as victims, how Joseph and Amanda spread false rumors about my supposed emotional instability, how they have twisted the past to cleanse themselves of any accountability. But none of it matters to me anymore. I am free. Free from the endless cycle of disappointment. Free from being the one who gives endlessly while receiving nothing in return. Free from the silent, desperate wish that one day, somehow, they might actually acknowledge me. The money I once provided for them now funds my own future. I've started therapy to untangle the web of guilt and obligation they wove around me. I've built stronger connections with people who appreciate me, not for what I can offer, but for who I truly am. There are moments of stillness when I feel the pang of what could have been, the family I should have had but never did, the love that should have been freely given but always came with conditions. But then I remember that Thanksgiving, standing outside in the cold, looking in on a celebration I had been intentionally excluded from, and I remind myself, I didn't lose anything by walking away, because you cannot lose what was never truly yours in the first place. For anyone who sees their own reflection in my story, for those who silently bear the burden of being the overlooked one, the dependable one, the one who gives endlessly without ever being appreciated, understand this: you are worthy of more. You deserve to be acknowledged, valued, and included, not because of what you do for others, but simply because you exist. And sometimes choosing to walk away isn't an act of surrender. It's realizing that the void left by absent love is far less painful when you stop hoping it will be filled by people who were never willing to offer it in the first place. I've come to understand that real family isn't defined by shared blood. It is built through actions, through unwavering presence, through showing up when it matters most, through recognizing someone for who they genuinely are, not just for what they can provide. I've realized that boundaries are not acts of selfishness, they are necessary for self-preservation. That refusing to comply isn't cruelty, it is survival. That you cannot keep sacrificing yourself to make others comfortable, especially when they would never do the same for you. Above all, I've learned that true healing does not stem from offering forgiveness to those who have done nothing to earn it. It comes from acknowledging the truth, understanding that their actions were never my fault, and creating a life so rich with genuine love and connection that the absence of toxic relationships no longer leaves a hollow space. I am Ryan, the BCE, disregarded son, the dependable one, the one who finally put himself first, and I have never felt more at peace.
After listening to today's story, perhaps it has raised some new questions in your mind, or maybe it has brought back some old memories. Every day on Reddit, new experiences and moments create fresh stories, and they connect all of us. Everyone has their own unique journey in life, and we all try to understand the world in our own way. These kinds of moments remind us that we are all human, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, and always learning something new. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to share it with your friends. Your thoughts and feedback are always valuable to us, as they motivate us to create even better content. Every story has its own unique angle, and our goal is to understand everyone's perspective and make our content diverse and relatable. Stories like these help us realize that life's journey is different for everyone, and by hearing other stories, we learn something new. You can also share your own stories with us. Your experiences are valuable to us as well, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave your feedback. We aim to create content that brightens your mind and gives you new ideas every time. If you've already seen this video before, your feedback is still important. With every piece of feedback, we can improve our content and bring a new perspective to our viewers. Today, what we saw was just a small part of the many stories shared on Reddit and across the world. It's a reminder of how we all try to understand life by sharing our experiences with each other. This video was only an example of how we try to connect with others through storytelling, learning about different sides of life. We hope to continue sharing such stories that help us all learn and grow together. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to keep an eye out for more stories coming soon. If you haven't already, please like and follow for more amazing content. Your support keeps us going, and we will strive to bring you more thought-provoking and heartwarming stories. Until next time, take care and stay curious. Asterisk.